Right, so we are Jerry Service Center again. Today we're working on a B2500. Right, so we have some oil leaks, we have some shimming, we have some noise. We remove the brakes, we scrap out. This is how we do our inspection here at Jerry's. When you come in for a suspension check, we do a thorough inspection from front to back. We remove all the brake drum, brake hubs, and we do a complete inspection list. And we give you a copy of that list so you can have an idea what's happening. Right, on this particular, we get vibration, we get rough idle. So what happening here is this have an oil leak, right? And the oil leak is causing some of the problem. The problem is the oil is leaking from the top, which is the rocker cover, or they call the tappet cover, and it's leaking down and falling on the engine mount, and what of the engine mount. And also we have the vibration when you're taking off is caused by this, the gearbox mount. Now the engine mount just give you a vibration on idle. It does give you a little rough idle, and also contribute to when you're taking off, no pulling off. The transmission mount, or the gearbox mount as we call it, just give you the problem, especially when taking off. And also the center bearing rubber. This rubber is in the middle of the dry shaft. It's called propeller shaft, we call it dry shaft, right? And this is the center bearing rubber, or center support, or propeller shaft rubber. That's how they call it. These are called the universal joints, or they call it the cross. There are 3 cross on this, 1, 2, and 1 in the back here, 3. Okay, this is a damper for vibration. And so all these are inspected and they're good. So it's the transmission mount or gearbox mount that we change. And this is our gearbox, so we call it the gearbox mount. The mount has 3 rubbers on it. One on the rubber here, this big one here, and just like this on the other side, it have one on the other side here. So I could get it for you. Yeah, you could see it here. Okay, this one here. So what happened with it? You either change the complete unit. This one is made on to the rubber, it cannot be changed. This one could bolt out and the other one could bolt out. So 2 rubbers on this engine mount, this gearbox mount could be replaced. The other one is made onto the mount. So we're replacing that. We're replacing the 2 engine mounts, and we're going to examine and see where the leak coming from. The leak is coming from on top. Right now, this is where the gearbox meets the engine. It right where it joins, it carries the rear engine seal. So you cannot tell if that's leaking until you fix the leak on top, because it will run down and mislead you. Okay, so that's what we're doing on this B2500 here. And some other repairs. So we're gonna be changing some front wheel bearing also for the noise on the left side front wheel bearing. This is called the velocity joint, or the axle, right? The spindle, let me show you the spindle, how we do that. So this is the spindle with the front wheel bearing. This is the bearing out, come out, goes into the shaft, shaft goes into the spindle, and it goes on that press and press out. And there's a complete bearing like this has to be replaced into the spindle. When you press in the spindle, you have to make sure inside here it doesn't have any wear, that it's good. Carries a circlip, you put back that circlip and you press in back the spindle. On this spindle you got your upper ball joint that will be inspected one time to ensure that it's good. On some of these front wheel bearing, not the B2500, but up till last week we had a Ranger, one like this, a T6, came in for the ABS light on, and let me tell you about that now. On the bearing itself has a metal shield on it. I will show you that on a video. On the both sides of the bearing. Right, let me see if I can show you on an old bearing that I have here. Alright, yeah, so this is a bearing that we have here. I want to show you something. Right, so these are the bearings is made up. It's 2 halves, make up 1 bearing as a complete unit. Long ago, we had 2 halves called an inner and an outer, but now they've compromised and they put the 2 bearing on 1 shell, and they call that complete bearing assembly. On this here, it's called the shield. This prevents grease from escaping from inside the bearing, and some of them is come with a plastic shield, plastic and also magnetized. When it is magnetized, that is the side have to go to the ABS sensor. And on that range I want to tell you about we did last week. Somebody put the bearing wrong side and the plastic shield or this metal shield was facing against the sensor. In other words, they put the bearing upside down and this ABS sensor was not picking up a rolling from the bearing. And the ABS light was on. So we have to change them to bearing, flip it over, put on new bearings and put the ABS part on the bearing. That will pick up reading from the ABS sensor. So that's how some of the bearings are on those new model vehicles. So make sure your technician, most of the mechanics know what they're doing outside there. Some of them will try the thing at home. It have little mistakes. Just make everybody is a learning procedure. So there's a little note on those bearings, and that's what we're going to do on this pickup, a B2500 Mazda. So if you have any problems, give us a call at Jerry Service Center, Chase Village, 6710713 or 7309449. Quickly, this is called the inner and outer end, tie rod end. This is the inner, this is the outer, and this is the idler arm. It carries two bushings on the idler arm and a joint. This is called the stabilizer link, right? And this is called the stabilizer bar. Stabilizer bar usually does exactly what it says, keep the vehicle stabilized on the road, right? And the link helps support the straight arm and this stabilizer bar, right? Idle arm controls the steering. Again, we'll do a next video on suspension, right? And show you how it connects up to the steering box and how we check steering ends and how we do check ball joints and rubbers and all these things. Right, so give us a call at Jerry Service Center, 7309449 or 6710713, or follow us on Facebook, Jerry Service Center Limited.